Hey, what's up guys, Leon here. I wanted to create a tutorial about how I did these pop-up boxes in Unity where I wanted some really big pop-ups, but I want to also put them in a queue just so that it would queue up the pop-ups instead of replacing them. Without further ado, I'm going to show you how it looks like right now. So in my game, there's a few police chasing me right now, and if I escape them by running really quick, just run the hell away from them, I should get the pop-up messages. There we go. And you see how 3 of them were in a queue, so it appeared one after the other, so like you see 1, 2, 3. Whereas if you replaced it instantly, you would only get 1. Or if you chose to not show up at all, you only get 1 as well. Alright, now in that case, let's have a look at what exactly I did. Okay, and I want to explain a little bit why I want the concept of a queue rather than just making it appear instantly. Because usually when you have, like say for example, you have an animation like a ball rolling or something, it's animating. Then this goes on for like X amount of seconds, let's say like 3 seconds. And during this time, nothing can go on. So if you want another call, so for example, if you have it initialized, you know, with a call, like that, like a function call, this is already being called. So what's going to happen if you call it again, you know? What if you call it again while this is happening? You see how messy that can be? So either you can resolve this by replacing it instantly, like so replace, or you could resolve it by not having it run anymore, so this won't be run. Or the other way, which is really good, and what I did, is by having a queue system, so which means it's going to be queued, so this call is going to line up pretty much in the queue of customers waiting to be called. So 3 seconds, 3 seconds, and 3 seconds. So you want, first off you want a canvas, so I'll make one now. 2D UI canvas. And I like to set this one to scale screen size, and I put a 1080p resolution. And with this canvas, then I put a new panel. So with this panel, I want to actually keep the image and get a black sort of background, 100 alpha, and set these top values to around 300 and 300. There we go. So then we want a text mesh pro, but before that I want to create another panel so I can actually use that panel as coordinates to move that text. So let's create a new panel. Get rid of the image on this one because we don't need it. And instead of like stretching it, I want to put it in the middle. Just try to put a text on it, text mesh pro. So with the text, I want to center it and put it in the middle and stretch it. And then I can have a text size of 100 or let's say 200. Alright, why I have this panel is because then you can use that as coordinates. So let's say if I put -1920, you see the text goes exactly to the left here, and if I put the screen width, which is 1920 again, it goes to the right. So we can, you know, manipulate this by code very easily by adding the screen width and minusing the screen width. So just so we can like animate it, like lerping across, right? And with this text, I'm going to use a nice font that I downloaded called AXAXAX, and I'll name it something like, you know, police escaped. Bring down the line height and I made it italic just because it gives the feeling of movement. Alright, now we have this. I actually put some settings on this Text Mesh Pro and I added some color gradient to it, which is nice. So, you know, you can play with it however you want. And I really liked to have this glow. These are the glow settings. It looks pretty good. You can play with it. Like, it's very interesting as well if, you know, you put it in the middle. That's actually a very interesting, like, retro neon effect as well. So yeah, feel free to experiment with it. But I'd try something like this. Okay, so now we have this. We have all of the elements that we need created. We can start to write a script for this object. Alright, so on this panel, let's add a new script called Popup Manager. And just go to this new script in your code. So I want to make this a singleton, just so I can reference it easier. So let's do public static Popup Manager instance and private void awake. If instance not equals to null, instance equals this, and you could do something like else destroy a game object, just so that there's only one singleton. Alright, so after we have this instance, we can set up some references like CameraScript. Set up a CameraScript reference. The text reference and the rect transform reference. Now we can set up the queue, so public queue, and we want to take in a string because we're going to change the pop-up text with this string variable. So we go pop-up queue, that's what I name it, new queue, taking a string, so initialize that queue, and we want to set animation variables just because we want to control the time that we want to animate it and fade it and all that kind of stuff. So we have a public float animation fade time in seconds and public float animation display time. So how long we want to display the animation for. I like to keep it like somewhere around here actually as a default value. And for the last variable, we want to have a boolean. To check if the pop-up animation is playing or not. Alright, then we're done with the variables. Then we're gonna write some methods. So it's gonna be public void add to queue, and it's gonna take in a string. So basically this is going to add a value to the queue. So in this case it'll be a string, and we can call this whenever we want to add something to the queue. So to do that, we're going to reference this pop-up queue that we have and write in queue and put in the val. So this is going to put this new variable to the queue. And we want a function to execute the queue, so execute queue. So this is going to get the first customer in the queue. So for example, if you're lining up in the queue and the first customer that lined up is going to be called now, so it's going to return a string, and with this value string that we got, we're going to change the text to that value, and we're going to run a coroutine. I usually use mech, but for the sake of this tutorial I might use the default Unity coroutine just so everyone has it. So start coroutine, and let's write a coroutine. Private IEnumerator, execute queue. So in this coroutine, first thing we're going to do is set the pop-up is playing to true, and we're going to reset the text holder's position. So text holder dot anchor position equals new vector 2 minus screen width and 0 for y. So this is so that it's going to appear, as you noticed when I showed you in the GUI, it's going to appear to the left of the screen. And I'm going to use a tween library called LeanTween, so you can download this off the asset store. It's free and it's pretty lightweight in terms of a garbage collection, so you can use other ones, but this is what I prefer, or you can make your own like I did as well. So alpha canvas, and we get CG and we make that alpha into 1, so it's going to fade that in, and animation fade time is the time that we have, and we want to move it to the middle. So LeanTween.moveX and text holder. So we want to move the wrapper of the text to the middle by moving the x coordinates to 0, and we can use the same fade time as that. And now we're going to yield a delay time just to wait for the animation to finish. So yield return, wait for seconds, animation display time. So we want to wait the amount of display time so we can have a break to read the text, and then after we've read the text, let's fade the box back and move it across the screen as well to animate it a little bit. So LeanTween.alphaCanvas, CG and 0, and animation display time, animation fade time I mean, and same thing for the move X, text holder, and this time we want to move it to the screen width, which is going to be the other side of the screen, and animation fade time as well. And now we want a bit of another time again. We might as well just do this again, and then we can do Popup is playing equals false. Just so we have this bit, just so that a new animation doesn't come on instantly, which could be distracting, so we have a bit of a delay before we get the next one into queue. And that's pretty much all there is to the coroutine. And so in our update method, we can check if it's playing, then we can return it, or if there's nothing in the queue, then we can return it as well to save some computation time. So if popup queue count equals less than 0, then we return it as well. If it doesn't return, then we execute the queue pretty much. And everything should work. But now nothing works because we didn't like reference it to do anything. So if you want to reference it, you can do like in any other script. You can do popup manager dot instance and then add to queue and give it a string like police escaped, like that. This is a return symbol /n, and you can do it this way, or you can subscribe to an event like I did. So basically what I did to subscribe was that have these, so you have these sort of events that I created, and I pretty much subscribe to it. This is a good way because it makes the code more modular, and if, say for example, if you don't want to use this manager anymore, all you have to do is disable the script and you don't have to change any other parts of your code, because you're calling this event for somewhere else and this is just subscribing to that event. And so for the purpose of the tutorial, I can just do a debug call in the inspector to call this method, and let's call this public void test call, and we can do something like add to queue neon popup, like that. Alright, and we can do something like add to queue cats, nice, and just do that again, I guess, and let's see how that works. You can just do like advanced inspector, inspect method to make this a button in the inspector, and that only works if you have a advanced inspector. So you can do another way, just call this method in awake if you want. So remember to add a component for canvas group, and you set this to 0, and let's set the references by dragging it in, also the text and the text holder. So there we go. Alright, with that done, we can test it. So if I click test call, you get a neon pop up. Okay, cat's nice. Okay, let's make it full screen. Maximize on play. Neon pop up. That's nice. And you see that was all the items in the queue with just one click of a button. Alright guys, hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and hope you learned something from it, and I'll see you all on the next one. Don't forget to check out the game I'm making called Astro Blitz on Twitter and Discord and what have you. Peace out.